Now for number 6. We have Rahab the harlot. Yeah. This lady, she's lovely. She's amazing. She sort of has a redemption arc. Because you know harlots are bad. I will not do that to make YouTube sort of punch me in the gut. But before I describe her any further, let's talk about Sarah. We're going to find the part where she laughs. And it's somewhere in Genesis. We're reading Genesis and family worship. Just me and Rosie and Mom and Dad. Really nice. Let's see. Chapter 30s, I think it is. Somewhere. Oh. He's still Abram at chapter 13. Can't be it. Yeah. Yes, I found it. Chapter 16. Never mind, sorry. Oh boy.
Wait a minute.
It's probably chapter 20s. I am so sidetracked. Oh no, she dies in chapter 23. Give me a second. Dude, no, I gotta be 18. Alright, okay. Chapter 18, verse 9. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return to thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure in my Lord, being old also? And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of a surety bear a child which I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed, I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. See, the Lord knows what the Lord knows. He understands. And he says it twice. First time, Sarah laughs, and second time, with a little more force, I will come back, and Sarah will have the son. And yes, Sarah, the waxed ancient, indeed doth give birth to the second generation of Jesus' life. Jesus' greatest of all, actually no, second to first greatest grandpa, Isaac. Isaac, the man, the myth, the legend. Never mind, he ain't no myth and legend. He's real fact, ladies. And this man was born of a woman who could not give birth, but gave birth anyways, because God wanted it so. So yeah, good stuff, good talk. Now we can literally get to Rahab the harlot. She isn't that well known if you don't pay attention to stories in the Bible that weren't in your childhood. But she's well known to me, and actually looks rather good looking in my imagination if you didn't know. Very skinny, with black hair. Anyways, she helped the spies. This is around, let's say, Joshua's time, right? He sent these spies out to scout the land. And this woman hid them, helped them. And the men were like, okay, when we come back to desecrate this whole entire land, wipe out the whole entire generation of this nation, we will remember thou and thy family, and you will not be harmed. Because the men, they were saved from whoever was spying for the sussers. And there we go. That's literally all she is. She is literally like a protector, even though she is a harlot and a bad reputation, still gets a good reputation for saving 2 men of God, and her whole entire family get helped in the mix. And they're all saved. And when they go and kill off everyone and capture things and do those specific things to live in the land, Rahab who will no longer be known as Rahab the harlot, but Rahab the protector, and harlot, of course, but still protector, has saved the life of two well-known men who shaped the course of history. Let it be written, let it be done. Now, after Rahab the harlot, who has put number 6 in my list, because you've got to put all those famous, more well-known women first, you get Mary Magdalene. Just give me a moment.
Wait a minute.
My moment is finished. I have everything I need. Mary Magdalene is named Mary. No, she is not named after the mother of Jesus. Is she as significant as the mother of Jesus? I'll let you guys decide in the comments. Now, anyways, you have this thing where, like, Jesus is dead for 3 days now, but the women, they think he's going to be dead forever because they don't know that holy, significant men like Jesus, but the only one for 100% God, can rise from the dead. Singular. He's the only one. Now, anyway, Jesus, he's already risen. So when the women with their nice spices and delicious perfumes, smells so good, they want to go and they want to, like, dress the body, because the body might smell bad after 3 days, you know, and it might want to, like, be preserved for longer. And it's the body of Jesus, and those women knew him well. So they're walking and having a nice talk, perhaps, about sad tidings of the death that happened 3 days ago. Then suddenly, sitting on top of the rock, is the most handsomest angel I can ever think of. Like, I imagine him to be really good looking, like really handsome. Just like very, very intelligently handsome. And he's just sitting there, just chilling. He's like, "Oh, hello, ladies. The stone is rolled away. So don't be scared. Don't be frightened. Don't bow to me either. Bow to Jesus alone. Bow to God alone. But the one you seek is no longer dead. He is risen from the grave. He is now alive." And after a long time, the women believe, and they are told to go tell the disciples. So I think it was that Mary Magdalene went off along with the other women, but I'm sure Mary Magdalene had a part in this too. I mean, like, all 3 of them there, and the angel only directs it to Mary Magdalene. Definitely not true. But, like, the women go, they're supposed to be telling. So they go, they're joyous. I mean, their Lord and Savior has risen again. And he, like, risen only once, but anyway, he is alive, he is no longer dead. And then, of course, Jesus, if you didn't know historically, I mean, this might only be in a few of the Gospels, not all of them, he goes and he figures out that his disciples have been a little bit wimpish. They're afraid. They think they're going to be next. So they've been hiding and sort of cowering inside this place. Then Jesus, he walks over and he's like, "Hi, I'm alive again. You guys, hi, can you come out, please? I want to talk to you and tell you the wondrous news that I am going to go and ascend up to heaven, but I want to see you guys before I go, because you're my great 12 disciples and I need you. But now you're 11 because the traitor is dead." Well, anyway, so Jesus, he's there, he's talking to his disciples. This is no longer about Mary Magdalene. I feel like I should just do it on tangent because I want to. But anyways, one of the disciples, I think his name, Thomas, the doubting Thomas phrase. Now you know where doubting Thomas phrase comes from. The doubting Thomas himself, he is like, "Lord, truly, are thee alive?" And then the Lord is like, "You may feel my scars." So after feeling the hands of the little nails that were piercing his hands, and he feels it, and he's like, "My Lord, you are alive." And it's just like very nice. And then the 11 disciples, minus the traitor Iscariot, watch as he ascends. And they don't see him until their deaths years later. Or, like, at the exception of John, in a vision of Revelation, which is we get to the last book of the Bible, but later. So yes, that is Mary Magdalene and my little tangent section. Next, number 7. Next is Martha. Again, this is another Mary's sister this time. Siblings, like me and Rosie somewhere out there in the stratosphere. But anyways, Martha. Poor, troubled Martha. Well, Jesus visits the house of the 2 lovely sisters, who are probably around his age, if you chronologically think of it. Maybe a little younger, because you know how women are when it comes to the books, and they're younger than men. But anyways, there is a thing. And as Mary sits at the feet of Jesus, listening very studiously, by the way, she is intrigued at what Jesus has to teach. Martha busies around, and she's like, "Oh Lord, please let my sister come help me so that I may not be so stressed out, because I must serve you something or other because it's hospitable." And then Jesus is like, "You are troubled about many things." And of course, Martha, I feel like, gets a redemption arc, but later in the story. Now, she's like, I don't know, you saw it from that kid's storybook. She like whipping up something in a bowl and then like all that. Well, the thing is, it's natural to want to do that. Natural indeed. I'll give you guys an intermission.
The next day.
Okay, no matter what that French narrator says, it's actually been about 3 days since I last posted a clip of me in glasses, and lots have changed. Like, for example, it takes forever to edit a 33-minute, 24-second point 3 video, which is exactly how much it was for that bit. But now we are back on the train game. Me and E, right E?
Yeah.
Whatever a train game is. Actually, we do have a train board game somewhere. Something about railroad thingy. Anyway, it was really fun. You should try it out sometime if you look for train board games. That's all you gotta do. Now, when you go back on the schedule, we got about 4 more people to talk about. And number 9 on our list is the sister of Moses. Miriam, was it, E?
Yeah.
Right, so this young lady, she just loves her little baby brother. And she didn't really like the fact that all the babies were going to be killed in Egypt. So she helps her mother with the reed basket, putting her lovely baby brother inside. And then the mother's like, "Miriam, go watch as the basket floats away. I want the baby to be safe, and go see what happens." So Miriam, she watches in the reeds, and she walks, getting her lovely dress all wet, but still doing what her mother says. And as she's moving along, the basket stops at Egyptian castle. Oh no, this could be bad or this could be good, because in an Egyptian castle, you don't know what's going to happen. Well, the daughter of Pharaoh, she's hanging out with her maidens, doing what young ladies like us do. And she's wondering, because, like, you know, it's a basket. What could be inside? Maybe $1 million in Egyptian money. So she's like, "Hey, one of my maiden friends, go see what's inside this lovely, cute little reed basket." And Miriam, she's watching. She's waiting. She's being like all young women are. And when the young queen lady princess opens the basket, inside is Moses the baby, wrapped in a Hebrew blanket. And she names the baby Moses. I wonder if the baby already had a name before Moses. Anyway, then Miriam frightenedly steps out, and she is like, "Oh, hello, my lady. Would you like someone to help you with the baby?" And so the young princess, or queen, or maybe she's a princess, she's like, "Oh, okay, you can go get your mother." So Moses' mother gets to be with her son after, and is helper in the palace. That was Miriam. Miriam actually has more to say, like she's actually a prophetess, but that's in her older years. Like after Moses does all his cool, nice stories that you could read in Exodus, and then you get to all the good stuff, juicy. But what Miriam is for is she is the main character of her life too. Because a baby can't be the main character of their lives unless they got some cool superpowers or they're historically significant. So Miriam, she has her own existence, being the older sister of cute, adorable little young baby Moses in the reed basket. And she listened to her mother. She knows what to do. She's intelligent, she's bright, she knows for the fact that princess isn't going to be as married as I am, and because I'm not married. And depending on, for specifics, Miriam clocks to her mother. Her mother being the exact birth mother of Moses, who probably sort of indignantly regrets that she can't take care of her baby boy anymore, but still gets a chance to see him every so often and nurse him and love him and give him all the motherly love he deserves until he's done being nursed. So yeah, that's Miriam. A significantly intelligent young lady for her age. No matter the age she is, she knows what to do. And she did it. Signifying Exodus's plotline. So that's Miriam, the lovely lady. Next, for number 10, we have the Canaanite woman, whose daughter was possessed with a devil. Women. Did you know that Canaanite women weren't allowed to marry into the Lord's covenant people? They were singulared out as not being the best. For example, Esau, his parents said, do not marry Canaanite women. He went off and married 2 of them. Now, let's see if this Canaanite woman has a redemption arc for her whole people, or does she not? And there are 2 accounts, Matthew and Mark. But since Matthew is the first gospel, let's start with the first. And we are going to go to Matthew chapter 15, verses 21 to 29. So grab out your Bibles, favorite or not, because I know you have more than one if you're a studious like I. And this one's my favorite, by the way. I had like 3 in my lifetime. And go to 21. It should have a little black highlight over it, showing a new phase of the story. Then Jesus went thence and departed into the coasts of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coasts, and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away, for she crieth after us. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, It is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to the dogs. And she said, Truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Then Jesus answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. Now, let's discuss. So, this is something that I feel like is something that Jesus, he has his right to say. Like, your children are eating bread, and then you grab a whole entire loaf and feed it to a puppy. That isn't right. The child needs to eat their bread. But then the Canaanite woman, she knows the logic of bread and how bread drops crumbs. And she humbles herself. She lowers herself to the lowest of all low. She says, Lord, even the dogs, they eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. And she even calls it a truth. So, the Lord, he thinks, wow, great is your faith. And therefore he says it. And at the same moment, same hour, the lady's daughter has the devil cast out of her. So the Lord, he has mercy on the Canaanite woman. Even though she is not of the same faith, she worships him. She's begging, she's pleading. She probably loves it. It's for her daughter. It's probably even her only daughter. So you know how she feels. And Jesus has compassion on her. But first he wants to test her, So he says that dogs do not eat the full loaf of bread from the children. And then she knows it. She feels it deep inside. So she says she is lowly enough to eat the crumbs on the floor. And it gives him a chance to say that her faith is great. And her daughter gets saved and healed and is whole again. What a lovely miracle. What a lovely, 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 lovely miracle. There's like no words to express how Jesus is at this moment and the way where he marvels at her faith. But she herself, she probably understands. She probably just really wants her daughter back. And knowing and hearing that Jesus Christ can save and heal people and cast out demons, she wants to try it. She wants to see if it actually works. And it works for her in the best way possible. So that is my top 10 women of the scripture. She is number 10 because, yes, she is an obscure character, but her faith as a Canaanite woman is bigger than every other Christian's faith, who, yes, they are a Christian. They are of the Christian bloodline. But their faith might not be as great as hers. For, yes, she is as humble and lowly as the dogs to eat the crumbs from under the master's table. So that is my top 10 women. Now I think there should be some honorable mentions. Some women who didn't get into the top 10, but that does not mean they're 11, 12, 13, 14, and so on. It means they stand side by side with the best women of history. And I have written some of them down. Starting with Adam's lovely wife, Eve. I don't know where to fit her. She's probably side by side with Esther and Ruth and Mary, mother of Jesus. So Eve, the first woman, the mother of all children, of all people. She is created out of one of the ribs of Adam. And she loves him like he loves her. He even names her himself, Eve. And Eve, she is there. She's enjoying her life with Adam. But one day, a serpent comes. And the serpent is hungry. Very hungry. My lips are just dry. So he's very hungry, and he knows that he can trick and deceive. For the Bible itself says that the serpent was the most deceivious of all the animals in the garden. And the serpent goes to the lovely, lovely, lovely woman Eve, who probably is near the tree, the forbidden tree. But maybe she's just picking fruit from the tree beside it, who isn't forbidden. It's just like a tree there who decided to grow next to the forbidden tree, just like a test, perhaps. So she's just hanging around, and then the serpent's like, Eve, what if I were to tell you that the tree that's forbidden is forbidden because God only says it's forbidden? And people who say things can lie, the serpent explains and exclaims. And then the serpent goes on to say, what if I told you, if you took a bite of that delicious fruit that I have actually eaten multiple times in my lifetime, by the way, you will become like God, and you will know good and evil. Well, Eve, she wants to know what good and evil is. She wants to be like God. Because, human nature comes first before worshiping God, apparently. And, she likes when worshiping God forever, and maybe she gets a little tired of it and just wants to rebel for once in her life. She takes the fruit. She tastes it. This tastes like an apple, she thinks. But not really an apple, because it's a poisonous-ish apple. Because then it makes her realize she's naked. Because if you didn't know, the first ever humans on Earth weren't wearing any clothing. So she realizes she's naked. But after her husband eats it, she really realizes she's naked. And then they clothe themselves and hide behind the bush. And everything is going wrong. Because then God himself walks through the woods. And he's like, Adam, Eve, where are you? I need to see you guys. Why are you hiding? And then after all of the blaming and all of the backstabbing, the serpent, being the last to get backstabbed, gets a punishment. Punishment being, did you know serpents had legs? Serpents having legs is a really creepy thing, but serpents without legs is even more creepier, which is why snakes nowadays are legless. Just strips of movable jello with eyes, practically. Or Play-Doh, colorful strips of poisonous Play-Doh that have eyeballs and tongues, and they're supposed to eat the dust of the earth now, all serpents. So poor serpent. But not too poor, because he was actually Satan possessing a serpent. And then you get Eve's punishment, which is if she gives birth, it'll be painful. It'll be horribly painful. So apparently giving birth before the fall was not painful, but she'd never tried it before, so she would have never experienced Eve, you shouldn't have eaten that apple. Now for Adam, his punishment is he must toil. It will be very backbreaking work to get the fruit of the labor out of the ground. And then God, being merciful, because after he's given his lovely first ever children punishments, he decides, you know what, I'm just going to have to clothe you guys because you're naked and you know you're naked and you don't want to look at each other naked. So he clothes them with skins and then sends them out of the lovely garden. Serpent, I don't know what happens to serpent, probably stays in the garden, doesn't follow after them. But Adam and Eve, they're outside the garden now. And thus starts history. But thus is Eve. Why is Eve an honorable mention? Not because I just forgot her and didn't know she existed when I was trying to pick women out. She's an honorable mention because she's the first ever woman of the earth. The first ever female. She was there. And then she does give birth to Cain and Abel, who end up doing the first ever murder, which is killing each other up. Because, Cain kills Abel because the jealousy. First ever murderous parts of jealousy. But yeah, she's still an honorable mention, Eve is. Now, other honorable mention we have is Deborah. So, Deborah. She is the first ever prophetess. A prophetess is a female prophet. And prophets, they prophesy. And prophesying is when you tell the future, tell the past, tell the middle, tell just certain things that have to do with what's going to happen next. And this is judges we're talking about. So we haven't got the kings yet. They're still judging the land. Being great. And yes, you're allowed to judge female women, but make sure it's proper judgment and is useful for life. Now we are going to read chapter 4 as much as I can until Deborah isn't mentioned, because she gets her own little chapter. So, chapter 4 of Judges. If your Bible is mine, then you turn to page 325. If not, you can turn to whatever page you want. But, chapter 4. And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord, when Ehud was dead. And the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Harosheth of the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel. And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, she judged Israel at the time. And she dwelt under the palm tree of Deborah, between Ramah and Bethel and Mount Ephraim. And the children of Israel came up to her for judgment. And she sent and called Barak, the son of Abinoam, out of Kadesh Naphtali, and said unto him, Hath not the Lord God of Israel commanded, saying, Go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with thee 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali, and of the children of Zebulun? And I will draw unto thee to the river Kishon Sisera, the captain of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his multitude, and I will deliver him into thine hand. And Barak said unto her, If thou wilt go with me, then I will go. But if thou wilt not go with me, then I will not go. And she said, I will surely go with thee, notwithstanding the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor. For the Lord shall sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. And Deborah rose and went with Barak to Kadesh. And Barak called Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, and he went up with 10,000 men at his feet, and Deborah went up with him. Now Heber the Kenite, which was of the children of Hobab, the father-in-law of Moses, had severed himself from the Kenites, and pitched his tent unto the plain of Zanaim, which is by Kadesh. And they showed Sisera that Barak the son of Abinoam was gone up to Mount Tabor. And Sisera gathered together all his chariots, even 900 chariots of iron, and all the people that were with him, from Harosheth of the Gentiles unto the river of Kishon. And Deborah said unto Barak, Up, for this is the day in which the Lord hath delivered Sisera into thine hand. Is not the Lord gone out before thee? So Barak went down from Mount Tabor, and 10,000 men after him. And the Lord discomfited Sisera and all his chariots and all his host with the edge of the sword before Barak, so that Sisera lighted down off his chariot and fled away on his feet. But Barak pursued after the chariots and after the host, unto Harosheth of the Gentiles. And all the host of Sisera fell upon the edge of the sword, and there was not a man left. Howbeit Sisera fled away on his feet to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. For there is peace between Jabin, the king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite. And Jael went out to meet Sisera, and said to him, Turn in, my lord, turn in to me, fear not. And when he had turned in unto her into the tent, she covered him with the mantle. And he said unto her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water to drink, for I am thirsty. And she opened a bottle of milk, and gave him drink, and covered him. Again he said unto her, Stand in the door of the tent, and it shall be, when any man doth come and inquire of thee, and say, Is there any man here? That thou shalt say, No. Then Jael, Heber's wife, took a nail of the tent, and took an hammer in her hand, and went softly unto him, and smote the nail into his temples, and fastened it into the ground, for he was fast asleep and weary. So he died. And behold, as Barak pursued Sisera, Jael came out to meet him, and said unto him, Come, and I will show thee the man whom thou seekest. And when he came into her tent, behold, Sisera lay dead, and the nail was in his temples. So God subdued on that day Jabin the king of Canaan before the children of Israel. And the hand of the children of Israel prospered and prevailed against Jabin the king of Canaan, until they had destroyed Jabin king of Canaan. Woo! There is 2 honorable mentions in here. Not just Deborah, but Jabel. I think that's what her name was. Now, Deborah's part is being the best judge of all of Israel, I feel like. I mean, yes, there are some honorable great men who also judged Israel, but Deborah, she had thought. She got the men together, she got the armies, and God blessed those armies so that all of the single men's and all 900 chariots, everything was gone. But that's Sisera. He fled. Apparently, he's very quick-footed too, because I feel like no rabbit would have been able to beat him. He ran so fast and somehow survived. But he went into what he thought was a friend's home. She covered him up. She hid him away. And he pleaded her practically to be like, if anyone inquires of me, please say no. But she had a plan. As he slept, she grabbed a hammer and a nail, and did what all smart women do to kill men. Hammer into his temples. So therefore he died. Because anything that gets into your head area that's like very metallic and also pretty harshly contributed sort of kills you right away. So I don't think Sisera had any time to finish his dreams. I feel like he died right away. And so both Jabel and Deborah, they have their own honorable mentions in 1 chapter 4 of Judges. And this seems to be the end. But what did you think of my honorable mentions, and what did you think of the top 10 women? I hope you can tell me in the comments, women. This is a chance for you ladies to do what you need to tell me all your thoughts on the role models of women in the Bible. Be cool, be feminine, and be Deborah. And tune in next time for more awesome adventures of Anytime Storytime and her best pal, Eve. Bye, everybody. Adios, amigos.